Riding wet mountain bike trails is one of the worst things that you can do to your single track. So today on the Loose Wheel, we'll be discussing some of our best tips for riding wet trails. Let's get started. Our first tip is to plan your location based on how the trails are angled with the sun. If you're planning a day of riding in the rain, pick a trail system that faces the sun. The sun-facing side will heat up faster and dry the trail. To illustrate this, I made a model from some paper towel rolls and paper. It's not great, but it'll work. As you can see, the sun-facing side gets more light, and therefore heats up faster. Of course, if you've attended a 4th grade science class, then you'll probably already understand this. Ideally, a flat trail system will be the best as it gets the most sun. So just remember to check the sun before you go on your ride.
Wet trails usually also bring cold weather. To stay warm, it's usually a good idea to have long johns or leggings under. With a long sleeve shirt on top. If you don't want to look like a roadie, then it's probably a good idea to shorts and a jersey over your underlayer. If you think it might get really cold, then it's best to bring a jacket as well.
This next tip is mostly for people who live in areas with large amounts of tree cover. This tip is pretty simple. If you see a patch of dirt that is especially shady or dark, then it's probably wet. Knowing this, you can make a confident decision to slow down or even walk that section.
In the winter when trails are wet, it also gets a lot darker a lot sooner. To not get caught in the dark 10 miles from the trailhead, it's always good to have a light on you, even if it's not the best. This can act as an emergency source of light and also a signal if you get lost or injured.
If your trail system was built by professionals or some pretty devoted amateurs, then it probably has adequate drainage. Drainage is the ability for water to be displaced off-trail into ditches and mini canals. Some trails have elaborate drainage systems to keep the trails dry. But if your trail is perpendicular to a hillside, then you might already have drainage built in. Having a trail off-camber perpendicular to a hillside means that the water flows down instead of collecting on the trail. Also, if the trail surface is pretty lightly warm with grass growing on the tread, then drainage becomes a much smaller issue as the grass absorbs the runoff on the top of the trail. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share with a friend who lives in the rain. On that bombshell, it's time to end. Thank you, good night!